Okay guys, so this is my top 10 week 15, and we are just a couple weeks away from March Madness. It's getting close, so and the top 10's crazy over rival. So okay, honorable mention is Arizona and Pittsburgh. At number 10, new to the poll, 20-4, 2-0 this week, Butler Bulldogs. Well, they beat, they beat George Washington at George Washington 59-56, and then St. Bonaventure 77-58. I mean, Butler, there's a few teams that will really, I struggled. It took me over an hour to figure out who I was going to put number 10. And Pittsburgh was definitely in the running, Louisville, Arizona. And I just have to give it to Butler because Brad Stevens is just an outstanding coach. So, new to the poll for the first time all season long, at number 9, 19-4 on the U. 2-0 this week, Kansas State. They won at Texas Tech 68-59, and they beat Iowa State 79-70. Kansas State is a team, I mean, I digged a little bit deeper into them, and they beat the Florida Gators, and I believe they were 3-2 against top 25 teams this year. I mean, Kansas State, I don't know. I think it was kind of a pleasant surprise at this point in the season. So, then new to the poll, for the first time since the preseason top 10, they will back into my top 10. At 20-4 is the Michigan State Spartans. They just keep hanging in there. Everybody's talking about Ohio State, including myself. Everybody keeps talking about Minnesota and all these teams. Michigan State is definitely right there. I mean, they're holding their own, and they are dangerous because this is what Tom Izzo teams do. They kind of look around, and they just, and all of a sudden they're on the Final Four in the last first weekend of April. But they were 2-0 this week. They beat Minnesota 61-50, and at Purdue they won 78-65. Michigan State's a good team. Would not be surprised if they made it to the Final Four this year. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying they will, but I wouldn't be surprised. Just letting you know. At number 7, up 3 spots from last week, at 20-3 is the Syracuse Orangemen. They were 2-0 this week. They blew away Notre Dame 63-4 at 7, and they beat St. John's 77-58. Here's the deal with Syracuse. They just got somebody, and I can't think of his name, of course. They just got somebody back, and he's like a big part of their team. So look for Syracuse to keep going up. Definitely watch them keep going up. Number 6, staying the same. They have stayed at number 6 for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. At 23-2, Gonzaga. The Gonzaga Bulldogs. 2-0 this week. They beat Pepperdine 82-56, and Loyola Marymount 74-55. Those were pretty big blowouts, but keep in mind that they are, and they're battling for last place in the conference they're in. So no big deal there. But Gonzaga, like I've said, I think this very well could be Multifew's best team has ever had at Gonzaga. So you have to give it to him. Again, I said every week it's just so tough to gauge them, to get a good look at them, because they ain't really playing anybody. So they're just in a weaker conference. But I have seen them play, and they do look good, and and they're well coached, just like Brad Stevens, Multifew's top 5 coaches in the country. At number 5, down 2 spots, at 21-3 on the year, is the Michigan Wolverines. So they did go 1-1 this week. They barely escaped after losing at Indiana. They played Ohio State, and they barely escaped in overtime, 76-74 against Ohio State at home. They lost at Ohio State early on the season. And then at Wisconsin, they lost 65-62. And Wisconsin continues to be a very tough team to beat. And like I said, I've said it for years, but even with Indiana's good team, I said, hey, this year it's going to be tough to win at Wisconsin. And I don't know, Wisconsin's looking good. So staying the same at 21-2 is the Duke Blue Devils. They went 2-0 this week. They beat North Carolina State 98-85, and they barely won at Boston College 62-61. Yeah, that's just not good. Duke continues to struggle, but they're missing Kelly in the front court. Brian Kelly, is that his name? And I believe he's coming back really soon. But Duke, they're having some defensive issues. But I'm telling you, like I've said all season long, Duke's definitely a top 5 team. And they're definitely a big contender to go to the Final Four with a shot at winning the national championship. And that will not change. Down 1 spot at 19-3, number 3, Florida Gators. They went 1-1 this week. They were stunned in Arkansas, lost 80-69. Gave up a lot of points. They shot way too many 3-pointers that game. I think half the shots were 3-pointers, but some of that might be because they were trailing and they had no choice. But still, and they were down more than that most of the game, but they came back, made a game out of it. Every team has a down game, so then they just turned right around and beat Mississippi State 83-58. So again, I think Florida's good, and hey, they lost. Duke lost to Miami by 29 points all this year. So I mean, it's at number 2, down 1 spot at 21-3 are the Indiana Hoosiers. They went 1-1 this week. They were absolutely shocked by Illinois, 74-72. And then yesterday they go in Columbus and just whoop up on what I think is still a good Ohio State team, 81-68. So I think Indiana is definitely a contender for the national championship. But boy, there's a lot of areas to improve on, but they are looking good. And then number 1, this is a shocker, up 4 spots, 19-3. the Miami Hurricanes. You know, they were 2-0 this week. They beat Boston College 72-50. Duke beat them only by 1 point a little this week. Miami beat them 72-50. Then they beat North Carolina 87-61. So Miami is, Miami, I don't think you can argue with it, okay? Here's my case for Miami being number one. I'm in shock that Indiana's number one on the AP poll, by the way. I'm just in shock. But, and the coaches poll, Duke's number one. I think that's a joke. You can't put Duke above Miami. You just can't. I don't know how you can have Duke number one. Miami is undefeated in the ACC right now. They're 2 games up on Duke in the ACC. Plus, they beat Duke by 29 points. So, I have absolutely no idea what the coaches in this country are thinking. You cannot put Duke ahead of Miami right now. You just can't. And, you know, as much as I like IU, or, you know, IU's, you know how much I love IU, take a good look at this. I'm not biased. There's absolutely no way I can put them above Miami. I think Miami is getting so disrespected right now that it isn't even funny. I just don't understand how they just don't get no respect. But I'll tell you right now, up to this point, without a doubt, they are better than Indiana. No doubt. And they are surely better than Duke. So, I think that's it. I think that's my top 10. I'm going to try to get this edited and uploaded before 1 a.m. Mondays are just tough. It just takes a lot of time to do this, and this week it was just crazy. It took me a while to rank my top 10, but especially the bottom 2, like in the honorable mentions, it was really tough. Butler, I mean, number 10, I'm still kind of shaky on. It's kind of, man, I don't know. But anyway, Indiana plays next against Nebraska Wednesday night in Assembly Hall in Bloomington. I absolutely do not have no clue what channel it's on. I don't know if it's Big Ten Network here on it or what. But okay, until tomorrow, I hope everybody's having a good day, and that's it. Peace. Let's see, they beat St. Bonaventure at number 4, staying the same, 21-2. Duke blew